It has not been easy for me. And, you know, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Daily Hotpot. I am your co-host, Drift, aka Robbie.
And I am Khan. Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope everyone is having a grand old day.
Happy Thursday, folks. And this time we got a special topic, and this topic is brought to you by Khan. Khan, give it away, brother.
Okay. I think going back from what we were talking about yesterday, however, to kind of change it up a bit, I'm going to ask Drift this question. Drift, it's someone gave you $1 million, but you had to spend it on a fun project. Obviously, you can't invest it. You can't do any like regular adult everyday activities with it. You had $1 million. What fun project would you do? And I will start off with one. And for me, going back to video games, this is something that's been on my mind for quite a few years now. Ever since Fallout 4, the Fallout 4, specifically the Fallout 4 mod, Sim Settlement. I would love a Sim Settlement, but for Skyrim.
Oh,
Yes. So in my head, I thought about this already and how it would play out. You would be placed into one of like the chamber, you know, like the VR dream chamber. And once you go inside the dream chamber, you get to load up a video game. And the video game is going to be called like, I don't know, something like Medieval Settlements or something like that.
okay, classic.
Where
Yeah.
where you're on a map. It's very similar to like literally Manor Lords that we just played, or like another game, it's like Medieval Dynasty. But I think the fun part of it is, and it's a pretty, cheap, but not cheap because you have to develop it, a way to utilize already technology, the Fallout 4 settlement system, where all the settlements they have interactions already. The code is in kind of like implanted already, where they have like their daily activities. You have raids. And for those of you guys don't know, Sim Settlement allows you to pick a city. You start from an empty slate and you get to pick out plots, what type of housing, what types of industry. It's basically a city builder. And for me, I would definitely hire a little small team to create my dream game, where it's literally Sim Settlements, but medieval times. And I think all the features are there already. And it's something I could see myself playing for like hundreds and hundreds of hours, honestly.
You know, it's funny you say that, Con, because as soon as you would like begun describing the type of game you wanted to invest in, I was like, Con, this just sounds like the horrible dream game that you and I talked about. How it's like not horrible that it's bad, but horrible that if this dream game come out, you and I would not come out of our houses for a while. Yeah, that would be a game. And it's so funny because Manor Lords came out recently. Not that that's like exactly similar to that. A game like that where you can just play your little medieval ant farm and build this settlement and watch your little Sims go about, and yeah, having this whole medieval aspect. That's such a time killer, bro. That's such a time eater, more specifically. It's gonna I would be so unproductive.
It would be like, for me, literally a dream, because like all the mechanics of Fallout would be there. So there's like a questing system already. There's obviously companions. It's like everything's there already, but like just place it in a medieval fantasy setting or like a Skyrim setting, or even like imagine if it's like Skyrim, but it's blank. It's like the Conquest of Skyrim prequel, where you are, I forget his name, but you get to like develop the city from nothing, and just to like hire settlements, and each of the settlers would have names and backstories to it, and they would interact with each other. I don't know. If I had $1 million to spend on a stupid something that I had to do, I would 100% create medieval settlements for Fallout 4.
I mean, book it now. You're I mean, that is such a game that is so dangerous. And the fact that I think that's the secret sauce, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of, surprisingly, you know, especially with Steam and its early access and a lot of independent studios and solo creators, there's actually quite a few settlement games
quite a lot
out there on the store, obviously of varying degrees of completion and polish. But I think that the special sauce that some of these settlements don't have is, as you said, you would make yours with like maintaining the same proper questing system, the RPG aspects. And it's like, bro, if you told me that I could play like a city settlement Sims Manor Lords game, but like it's permanently like in third person, and I can just conquest and build this whole land around me and still go dungeoning and questing and all that stuff. It's like, bro, what am I gonna do? I just quit my job. Just fuck it. I'm just gonna quit my job. Like, what am I gonna do now? This is it. This is my life now.
Yeah. I've spent like hundreds of hours playing Fallout Settlement System and Sim Settlement, and I don't even like the post-apocalyptic world setting, right?
Mhm.
So if you like imagine it into like my perfect setting, which is like medieval fantasy, oh my god, literally thousands of hours. And the fact that like if I had a company that's like strictly for it, I'll come up with crazy features.
Mhm.
I would be 100% okay having that as my job.
God, you know what's the craziest part too? You know, obviously you'd want this game to have some level of graphical fidelity because I feel like you like that. You like your games pretty, Con. Is realizing how expensive it is to make games nowadays. It's like equally hella expensive, but obviously the floor is raised for the tools of solo creators to pop off with their game ideas. But you know, we're talking about a proper game studio project. God, it is fucking expensive. Like $1 million is actually nothing. Like
Which is why I specifically picked it as a mod. Right.
Right.
So obviously to create a game like that from scratch, you know, we're talking like tens of millions potentially, or even like several millions. But to like keep it already with an existing ecosystem that's like already there, and all you had to do is create assets and obviously a little bit of coding. But like if you work with the guy that did Sim Settlements on it, I don't know. I feel like it's very doable, and definitely there's an audience out there. You're not gonna make money, but if you had $1 million to blow, I think it's totally doable.
And that's the beauty of mods is that people, you know, mods are obviously unpaid generally speaking, so people will make it because like you, they just want to see an idea of theirs made into it. They're just like, fuck it, bro. If no one else is going to do it, I'll do it myself.
So what's special about Sim Settlement is his system, along with the Fallout settlement system, allows people to create their own city and have the city gradually build up. So
Like organically.
Let's say, organically, but like anyone can create a city plan. So can you imagine all of like the different people out there, all the different modders, and we have it open for everyone? Imagine the different type of medieval cities that people come up with, the type of medieval castles that people can come up with. And it's already there for everyone to use and just to try out and build it themselves. I don't know. It's there, guys. Someone, please have $1 million. Do it.
Yeah, guys. You know what? If any of our listeners are bored millionaires, I just want to tell you. First, maybe check out our Patreon. No, just I joke. But man, that would be awesome. You know, it's funny because we're both nerds, I had a feeling this would be the case, but my idea is also a game project.
Oh, of course.
Naturally. And funny enough, this wasn't my initial idea, but it made me think of it now, since as we got closer to recording this episode, was if I had to blow that $1 million on a game project that I really wanted to have made, it was going to be my initial game design. I had like a whole a game design doc made for it when I took game design in community college of a game that I had planned. It was called The Brine, Brine, like, you know, brine for pickles or stuff, but that's not the one brine I'm talking about. To make a long story short, it was a third-person horror survival resource management settlement, but also dungeon raiding game. The basic premise is it's set in the early 20th century, so like 1910s, 1920s. Some space anomaly falls into near the Gulf of Mexico, but really it's the Bermuda Triangle. The ocean, dense fog sets over like a large, vast part of the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico and around that area, and people get lost in it trying to like investigate what happened. And the oceans start receding towards towards that center. And basically, from the new shores and the new land that opens up because the seas recede towards that center near the bottom part of like the United States, for example, there's like this weird alien unknown gunk or like corrosion on the ground, and it's like a material that's like highly sought after because it's being researched by scientists. It's almost like Fallout, where this new culture gets built around these shore. So like the shores start developing like small settlements and cities to like harvest the shit and like all these things. And then essentially the gameplay loop turns into like, you know, it's parts city management because you're like helping build the settlement, but then you're also doing like dungeons because basically there's this thing where no one enters the waters because obviously it's being corrupted by this anomaly stuff. So it's almost like Chernobyl, because this game's kind of partly inspired by Stalker, if you ever played those games. But you basically have to put on the special diving suit, and when you dive into the water, the visual of it was, if you guys know what brine pools are, it's a brine pool in the ocean. Yeah, a brine pool in the ocean is called the lake of the ocean, because brine pools are where
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, there's like dense sodium levels that it basically creates a separate layer of water that's more dense with salt and separated from the rest of the ocean. So if you look at videos of it, it looks like there's like a lake, like a misty lake at the bottom of the ocean.
I think I've seen a documentary on it, or at least like a part of a documentary on it. And there are always like organisms that live there and thrive there. Is that where you're going with this?
Yeah. So basically, you can dive into the shallow waters, and it's slightly corrupted by the alien weird thingy bobs, and there's decent materials. Or if you delve deeper, because the ocean is kind of like your dungeon crawling session of the game, you can dive into the brine, which is the brine pools. And that's where the deepest corruptions from the anomaly that fell from the sky lurk, and there's like unknown horrors and monsters, but there's also artifact material and stuff like that. And it's kind of that loop. It's a horror survival dungeon crawly game. The more you take up, the more you can sell, build up your settlement, the deeper you can dive in. It's kind of like a Darkest Dungeon. It's a combination of ideas of Lovecraft, Stalker, Darkest Dungeon, all those things. And I wanted to make a game set in that time period. And yeah, I would throw a fucking $1 million at that, because that was a game I've always wanted to create, because I just like the idea of it. I like the art direction of it. I've always wanted to do it, and I haven't. Speaking of it now, I literally opened up my old like game design document of it that I had from the class. It's
Can I see it? Can you send it to me too? Just to take a little peek. While you were talking about it, the vibe that I got at least in the dungeon crawling aspect of it, I've always wanted to play Subnautical, where
Subnautica?
Subnautica, where you're in like the ocean and you like have a base and stuff like that. And there's always like the creepy element of what's in the deep, right? So it would be interesting if you ever thought about, having like monsters or having things stalk you, but like never there, but you don't know what's out there or what's in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's part of like the fear built into the game, because obviously it's gonna have this really dark, grimy aesthetic to it, akin to like a Darkwood, if you guys ever played that game. But yeah, I mean, I personally don't think I have thalassophobia. That's like the fear of deep water and ocean. But man, can I really get into the mindset of someone that does. Like, I feel like I understand why someone would be terrified of it, Like, I don't think I am, but like, man, just to think about the possibilities of like that classic image where like you're on a ship, and then if you did like a bird's eye view, you're like under the eye of a monster or some shit, like that shit's fucking terrifying. It's sick, but it's like, damn, that's crazy.
I agree. I have a phobia of scary things, so your game already is terrifying to me. And the fact that I can't swim, extra terrifying.
Oh wait, yeah, I totally forgot. That's a double doozy for you, my friend.
I know.
But yeah, that's what I would throw $1 million at. That would be my dream one. But yeah, that's what I throw $1 million at. But you know what, Khan? I would play your game any day of the week. I don't know if you'll play mine, but
I'll try yours.
Respect.
I might return it before 2 hours on Steam, but I'll try it.
That's fair. One thing I want to do before we leave, and this will be really quick, is even though yours is a mod, let's just say, this is kind of out of the $1 million budget, but who would be the dream studio to helm your game?
Oh, my game? It would be the Sim Settlement guy. I think he's super awesome. I follow him on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
He's just one guy with like a couple of part-time helpers and stuff like that. I would 100% give him the $1 million and just let him have fun with it. I think he would be down.
Nice.
I think he could 100% make use of that $1 million and to create my dream game.
Good choice. Yeah. Shout out to the independent mod makers and creators out there.
King Geth is his name.
Oh, sweet. Check him out, guys. We'll put him in the description below. You know what? My dream studio, I think it would be either Acid Wizard Studios or Red Hook. So Red Hook would be the developers of Darkest Dungeon, and then Acid Wizard would be the developers of Darkwood.
Aesthetically, are you imagining the side-scroller and 2D animation?
Maybe not side-scroller in gameplay style, because I still want it to be kind of like third person. But the kind of dark ink, the heavy ink style, I love. And I think it lends itself to horror and that whole aesthetic perfectly. Like, it's the inkwell drop on a dirty, dusty tome of like a Necronomicon. Like, it's the perfect art style for like that out of this planet, otherworldly, Lovecraftian horror. I think it's the perfect art style.
Well, aesthetically, not genre, or at least not setting, would it feel like a Diablo type setting? But like, in the ocean and modern, but grimy.
Yeah, that same grime, that same level of like, man, everything fucking sucks. You know,
Got
everything's god awful. Yeah, wow. Well, Khan, I want to play both of our games, and now I'm going to have depression because now we know we don't have $1 million and we have no free money to throw around, and that sucks.
Hey, King Geth, if you're out there, if you want to, need another project, there you go. There's an idea for you.
Perfect. Red Hook Studios, Acid Wizard. You're already Game Studios, so keep doing your thing, guys. All right, guys. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for listening. Have a great, amazing rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow for the last episode of Week 7. And as always, take it easy.
Bye.